What's up everybody, welcome back to the Skyline Dude YouTube channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the 5 things I hate about my Subaru. Now I did for my long-term subscribers, I did a video, the same video with my Nissan Skyline. Now that video got tons of hate. Not really sure why. I mean, no car is perfect after all, right? So please just maybe go watch a couple of my other videos to see that I actually really do love this car, but there's always things to hate about almost every car. So, and today we're going to be going over the top 5. So without further ado, let's get right into the list. So my number 5 is not necessarily a thing with the particular WRX, more of a thing with Subarus in general, particularly pertaining to the STI. When I first bought this car in 2013, I bought it wanting an STI, but figured, okay, I'm going to buy this, keep it for a couple years, wait for the next generation of STI to come out, and I'm going to upgrade and get the STI that I've always wanted. However, when the STI came out, I was quite disappointed. I guess you would say with the lack of evolution and the lack of technology that Subaru decides to put in their flagship car. When it came out, it had the same 2.5 liter, 305 horsepower engine that basically this car has, and that it has used since what, 2004, basically when they brought the STI to the United States. It's somewhat disappointing because, well, I was hoping, you know, they would up their game kind of like with the other manufacturers and actually come out with something new and innovative that people would actually want, instead of giving us kind of the same thing over and over and over again. And then even when they refreshed the car, and you figured, okay, maybe they're going to put the new 2-liter motor into the STI now, maybe with 330, 340 horsepower, something like that. Well, we were disappointed again. So that is something I hate about Subaru in general, is that they kind of just drop the ball on the flagship model while they make innovations with the WRX, yet leave the STI kind of the same as it was before. That's just my opinion. On to number 4. So for my number 4 thing, we're going to have to go inside the car, and that is because the radio is just terrible in these Subarus, especially in the 2011, I guess you could say 2008 to 2014 models. The stereos are just awful in these cars. Now I don't have the upgraded touchscreen or anything like that. I basically have this basic stereo here, and that was fine. But Subarus are not known for having good sound systems, and this is no exception. This sound system is honestly terrible. I will say the sound system in my 1990 Skyline is better than what's in this car. Now, if we pop the trunk here, I did opt for the subwoofer that comes from the factory. Don't mind my messy trunk there. I don't know how well you guys can see it. Let's see, there we go. I did opt for the subwoofer, and even with the subwoofer, the sound quality is still not very good, especially when it comes to the radio or any sort of Bluetooth, anything like that. When you play a CD through it, the sound quality is better, but it's still lacking even compared to you know, other cheaper cars just have much better sound systems. I guess people figure most of the time you're not buying this kind of car for the sound system, but for the amount of money that these cost, you'd think they'd put something a little bit better in there. So while we're in the interior here, we're going to go over number 3 and number 2, since they both have to do with basically interior quality issues that I have found throughout the years, and not only throughout the years, but kind of almost right away, which is the biggest complaint. So number 3, I would say, would be the center armrest. We'll fold it down here so you can see it. So basically the center armrest obviously is not a very good material to begin with, you know, whatever, I kind of knew that. It's not the armrest itself, it's actually how the armrest locks. So if you see here how easily that popped open, I didn't even barely touch it, and this just kind of wiggles back and forth. My center armrest is not closed since maybe 6 months after I bought the car. It just never closes all the way, because even if you just tap it, it pops right open. And that's because they decided to use this little latching system, which is just the cheapest garbage I've ever seen. And it just never sticks in this little hole right, because it has this little lip on it. And it's honestly just the cheapest garbage I've ever seen. This whole thing here is so flimsy. Like, you'd expect this out of, you know what I mean, a base model, cheap of the line car, not something that costs you, you know, upwards of 20-something thousand, maybe even $30,000. It's really low quality, and it's been bugging me pretty much ever since I bought the car. So now number 2, like I said, interior wise, is the cowl rattle. So pretty much I would say another thing since I've bought this car is the it just rattles. I mean, there's no other thing to say. It rattles because there's literally nothing keeping this here from hitting the windshield. And over bumps or just driving at certain speeds, it just rattles and it's super, super annoying. I'm not sure if anyone else has had that problem. It could be that maybe my exhaust, because I do have an exhaust on this car, so maybe that helped contribute to the vibrations, but it drives me nuts. I did take it back to the dealer. They pretty much couldn't do anything. This was years ago when it was new. So what I ended up doing myself to fix the problem is I went out and bought some foam that you would normally use for like windows. It's probably like, I don't know, maybe a 1/4 inch thick of just kind of pressy foam. And I actually straight up just shoved it like right in here. A piece about this big on this side and another one on that side over there. And that actually solved the problem. So either way, it's just another annoying rattles on the interior of these cars. I kind of knew that going into it. This is not stuff I was like surprised about or anything like that, but it's just stuff that I've basically hated about this car since I've owned it. Alright, so getting out of the car here, we're going to move on to my number one thing I dislike about Subarus, and then that is going to be the paint quality. Not that I don't like the color. I have the obviously the World Rally Blue. It's a beautiful color. I love it. That's why I got it. However, I don't know, I'm sure this is a problem with other car manufacturers as well, but I've noticed it with this car more than any car I've owned before, is that the paint quality is just terrible. I don't know what kind of paint they're using or what kind of clear coat or whatever, but this car gets rock chips and scratches and everything so easy. I mean, just look at the front of my car, and I don't know how well these come up on camera, but you can just see all of these. Let me see if I can get a better angle here. You can just see all of this. That's the clear coat, just by maybe rock chips or stuff like that. But my front, look at the bumper. This bumper is literally destroyed. Now I do a lot of highway driving, so it's somewhat expected, but it's just so bad. And I know probably the question is, well, why didn't you have it clear broad? Well, I should have, and that's my number one tip for when you buy one of these cars. Get it clear broad ASAP, so you don't have to worry about this. I kind of waited on it. I didn't even really think about doing it at the time, and then it kind of got all rock chippy, and I was like, well, what's the point? It's already got a bunch of rock chips on it. Now I'm not going to clear broad, and it has just gotten progressively worse as time went on. So that's probably my number one thing. I just hate all of these chips. And I take care of the car. I wash it all the time. I wax it, you know, probably once a month. So I don't think it's a lack of maintenance. It's just it gets chipped up really, really easy. So alright guys, so that is going to do it for the 5 things that I hate about my Subaru WRX. So by no means are these big things or things that really affect the driving of the car. I do love this car, and I would recommend to everyone else out there that you do buy one if you are looking for a Subaru. So most of these things can be fixed with, you know, the clear bra and the foam I did, and you can put a new radio in it. So none of them are major things, but I figured I would make this video to at least show some of the things that are not so good about this car. So please don't take them to heart. They are just my own opinions. Don't be slamming me in the comment section because you don't agree. If there are other things that you don't like about your Subaru, let me know in the comment section below. I'm sure there are some other things with different models, and I'd actually find that interesting because, you know, maybe one day I will get, you know, the new 2020 Subaru. That should be hopefully coming out fairly soon. So anyway guys, that is going to do it for this upload. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe. I really appreciate that. I am trying to get to 5,000 subscribers before the end of the year, so any support I have, I do appreciate that. Also, if you guys aren't, give me a follow on Instagram at SkylineDude951. Don't forget to check out my other videos, all my Skyline content, all my car reviews, all that kind of stuff. As usual guys, that's going to do it. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch you all on the next video. Peace.